Like how long ago did you first discover law of attraction?
I say I probably discovered it. Um, First, I want to say thank you for doing this. I really
Oh,
appreciate it.
you're most welcome. It's my pleasure.
Probably a couple years ago when I first saw it, but
Right?
I didn't really take it serious. But now I've been on a different path, and I'm taking it more serious.
Okay, so what makes you take it more serious?
Probably
Why?
maturity. I was young, and I was on drugs. I started using drugs when I was like 14. So I've been recovering from that, from the residual abuse. So maybe now I'm just at a point where I can accept things.
Very good. So, what I've noticed is that most people come to law of attraction because life isn't quite working the way they want life to work. And so law of attraction actually gives us power in the sense that we don't need money in order to apply it, right? We don't need anything outside of our own self in order to apply it and get results. And certainly that was my situation is was that when I discovered law of attraction, I was looking for a way to improve my money situation, my health situation, my relationships, everything, and didn't really know how to go about it. So that's what got me on the journey, and it's been a very rewarding journey. So now what I want to do is I want to give back to people because I find that there's a lot of misinterpretation going on, and a lot of things that are not really part of law of attraction are being positioned as law of attraction. So it creates a lot of confusion for a lot of people, and that's why when you reached out to me, I was happy to help you. All right, so let's get started. Tell me a little bit about your question because there's other people over here. I already know your question, but this is for the benefit of people who are listening. Tell me why you reached out to me and what your question is.
Okay, my original question was: through the law of attraction, is it possible to grow from 5'6" to 6'5"?
Absolutely, it is. Anything that you want is possible. That is, in essence, law of attraction. Law of attraction says if you want it, you can have it. The only thing that gets in your way is your belief system. Okay, so how old are you just now, Oliver?
20?
20? So, what makes you think at the ripe old age of 20, what makes you think that you can't grow any taller?
Because I haven't grown.
Okay, so you haven't grown, so there's no physical manifestation that tells you that you're still growing. Is that what you're okay? So
Correct.
so so that's the belief. The belief is I don't see myself growing taller anymore, so that means I must be done growing. And so I can't grow anymore. But that's really not true because sometimes have you noticed with plants and nature that trees don't grow and then suddenly they put on a couple of inches? Have you seen that happen? Because I sure have. It depends on so many other factors that are happening, but there are times when a plant does not grow and then it grows, right? So
Yes.
nature has a system, and nothing has to stop growing unless you think that it's going to stop growing, unless you create that obstacle. So unfortunately what's happened is that well-meaning doctors, researchers, people have put a timeline on actual physical growth in height and said that, oh, growth happens from this age to this age, and if you're past this age you're not going to grow anymore, right? But then there are people who who defy that, people who grow later on in life. And there are so many examples. In fact, you quoted an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what law of attraction does is it says anything that you want is possible. So, the only reason you're not getting the growth in height is because you don't think it's possible. That's it. It's all about your belief system. And people have all sorts of beliefs around physical growth in your height. So tell me something. What other factors do you think, besides age and the fact that you haven't seen yourself grow, what other factors do you think contribute to your not growing anymore?
Um,
Why do you think you stopped growing? That's the question. Why do you think you stopped growing? Because you're only 20.
because genetics. One of the tallest parents.
Okay, there you go. Genetics. So, are both your parents the same height as you, or is one of them taller than the other one?
Yeah, my dad's like 5'9", my mom's like 5'2".
Okay, so when you were younger, so you're still pretty young from where I stand, but when you were younger, did people make any comments about your height in reference to your parents' heights? Or did your friends? How did you figure out that genetics is part of the equation? Who told you that?
Compared to my cousins, actually, because my side of the family, or at least maybe just my mom and my dad, because all my cousins are really tall, and they just that comparison. Like just 2 days ago, my my cousin was like, "You're like the shortest male in the family."
Okay, so when that happens, how does it feel? When someone says something like that, how does it feel? Was that the first time someone ever pointed out to you that you were short?
Definitely
No,
not.
exactly. Well, guess what, my friend? Your journey and mine is very similar. See, my mother used to look at me. So, my mother came from a family where everyone is tall, and my father's family, his mother was short, but his father was tall, and my father was medium height. He was not a tall man, but he was not short either. But my mother always used to look at my father, and she used to say to me, I hope you don't take after your father. But you see, that's the problem. Because when you tell a child, I hope this doesn't happen, what does the child think? The child becomes fearful inside. Oh my God, this might happen, and if it happens, it won't be a very good thing. And then what happens is now you're thinking about the opposite of what you want. You're thinking, oh my God, I might be short. What does that do? It brings you into fear. Fear that something that is not good is going to happen to me. That's what happens. So, did that kind of a thing ever happen in your life?
Yeah, definitely. Since I was young, not necessarily from my parents.
No, I know, but from other people.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurring.
Right? Exactly. And that is the problem because we don't know enough when we are children, we don't know enough, so we accept what other people are telling us. And other people are telling us, "Oh, this thing is, this is how it's going to turn out." If you believe that that's how it's going to turn out, then it will turn out that way. Because that's law of attraction. Law of attraction. So this is very important, Oliver. I want you to hear this very clearly and ask me questions when you want to get more clarity on it. There are two things in law of attraction that are really important. One is your intention, and the other one is your attention. Our intention is always in the right place because we all want good things to happen to us. But our attention can go to the wrong place, and that's going to give us results that we don't want. And it applies to everything in life, not just height. It applies to how much money we have, it applies to the kind of relationships we have, it applies to everything in our life. So attention, when once attention goes to the opposite of what we want, then we start attracting the opposite of what we want. So in this case, when somebody points out to us, oh, you're short. Now, where's your attention going? Is it going towards being tall or is it going towards being short? Where's your attention going?
Sure.
It's going towards being short. So when you give your attention to being short, guess what? That's what you're attracting into your experience. This is what happens to people who want to manifest money, right? We all want to manifest money, right? Am I right? Am I right? Yes, we all want more money. It doesn't matter how much you have, you still want more.
Always.
Always. So the thing is, but if you think, oh, I don't have money, your attention has gone to the opposite of what you want. And if your attention is on the opposite of what you want, then you cannot attract the thing that you want. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? So for
25%.
Yeah, it makes
not 100%.
Okay, so let's, because there's a lot more going on in your vibration that we're going to talk about, and we're going to shift it. But shifting your beliefs. So the first thing is understanding the fact that the only reason I paid attention to the fact that I was short was because someone else pointed it out. Okay? And then it became a vicious circle, because when somebody else pointed it out to me that I'm short, I pay attention to the fact that I'm short, which makes me short. Because that's law of attraction. Okay? So if somebody said, you're short, Oliver, and you said, you don't know anything about me. I might be short today, but I know I'm going to be tall in the future. Now what you've done is you've not accepted that, you're not focusing there, and so it doesn't matter what the other person said to you. Okay? But you paid attention to it, so you made it real. You said, oh my God, they're calling me short. That means I'm short. Now you're focused on being short, and that's what makes you short. Focusing on being short is what makes you short. If you didn't focus on it, you wouldn't be there. So what we have to do is, when somebody says, oh, this is who you are, you've got to have this inner voice that says, you don't know who the heck I am. You're looking, okay, let me give you an analogy. This is going to be really helpful. So, this is what I look like today. If I go and get a haircut and you take a picture of me, do you believe that I'm always going to look like that picture that you have?
No.
You don't believe it, right? Because it's just a picture in time. We are all changing all the time. But if you did, it would be so unreasonable to say that Zara's never going to change. This is her picture. This is what she's going to look like forever, right? But that's exactly what you've done to yourself. You've said, here's a picture of me. In this picture, I'm short. I'm never going to change. And because you've done that, that is why you will not change. But if you today, here with me in this moment, you understand this fact that this is what is getting in the way, and you say, oh, I didn't know it before. I didn't know that my focusing on it was the thing that was keeping me from going where I want to go. Then it comes to an end today, right in this moment. It's gone, because that's how powerful law of attraction is. If you pay attention to the things you don't want, you bring them into your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so now what's going to happen is, this is what's going to help you, is every time somebody points out to you that you're short, whether you say anything out aloud to them or not does not matter. What matters is, what are you saying to yourself? One of two things happens when somebody says you're short. Either you say, yes, they're right and I hate it, or you say, they're wrong, they don't know what they're talking about. I am powerful, I understand how law of attraction works, and I'm going to get what I want. Those are your two choices. Which choice you make in that moment is what determines what happens the next day. Does that make sense?
It does.
Do you think you could do that?
Mhm.
Could
So,
you remember to do that? If you remembered to do that, then everything in your life will shift. The other thing is, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you say?
I don't really say anything.
Okay, so we need to change that. Because when you see yourself in the mirror, you, my friend, need to start appreciating yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and you need to be your biggest fan. You need to be your biggest fan. That is what self-worth is. Self-worth means I appreciate myself and I don't care if anyone else does. Because my appreciation for myself is the fuel that my body needs in order to do what I want it to do. Does that make sense?
It does.
Because everything is about energy. In law of attraction, everything is about energy. Does that make sense? Do
What's
you understand?
energy?
What is energy? Did you say what is energy? Ah, we're going to go down a rabbit hole. We may not come back.
Fine with that.
All right. So, what is energy? Energy is what the whole universe is made of. Energy is something that science has not caught up with. We know that energy exists, but nobody really can answer the question, what is energy? There is not a single scientist who can answer that question. So we know that there are types of energy. There's electricity, there's heat, right? These are light, they are types of energy. We also know another thing about energy. We know that energy can change form, and when energy changes form, it turns into matter. So matter turns into energy, energy turns into matter, it never goes away. Once it comes into existence, it stays forever. This is physics. This is what scientists already know. You cannot destroy energy, it just changes form. That's it. For example, you take a newspaper, you burn it, it does not disappear, it just becomes ashes. It didn't go away. So energy never goes away. And that is really important to know because your thoughts are a form of energy and therefore your thoughts never go away. Once you think a thought, it is a vibration. Brain waves can be measured. Thoughts are energy that we can measure that energy. Okay? So,
So, energy from the beginning of mankind is still here today.
yes, that's yes, that's right. We live in a soup of energy. So, here's how you know that nobody actually understands energy is that every atom, so every cell of our bodies consists of chemical molecules. Every molecule consists of atoms. Every atom inside it has particles, and those particles are constantly moving, they are vibrating. And that vibration is what we call energy. What made them start vibrating? Nobody yet knows. No scientist has discovered that yet. How did it first start vibrating? Nobody knows that yet. We just know that it's a phenomena. Okay? And that's what makes our thoughts so important because our thoughts are a form of energy. When you think a thought, you're giving birth to energy, it is never going away. So if you think a lot of negative thoughts, and by negative in your situation, what I mean is thoughts that say, I'm short, That's what you're putting out there. That's the energy you're putting out there. It's coming out of your body because you're thinking it. Okay? When you think a thought, that thought energizes all the cells of your body. It energizes all the cells of your body. So that's what your vibe is. Your vibe is your body emitting the thoughts that you're thinking here are being emitted by every cell of your body in the form of energy that's going out. So if you've been sending energy out since you were born, all of that still exists. All the thoughts that you've ever thought about yourself still exist. They're still out there vibrating. They are what create your aura. Okay? I know you're new to this stuff. I know that you're new to this stuff, but I'm telling you that that's how you bring it together. You bring your understanding together. So this aura that you have is what people feel from you. It's your vibe. So when you go into a room and if someone is upset, you pick up on that vibe. You know that they're upset, don't you? You go into a room and somebody is angry, you can tell that they're angry, right? That's how you tell that they're angry, because every cell in their body is vibrating with the thought that they thought. The angry thought that they thought, every cell of their body is vibrating with that energy. And you're picking up on it. So that's how you know that they are angry. Okay? Everything, so law of attraction basically says, at its base, it says, we attract in response to the energy we emit from ourselves. We attract the results that we get in response to the energy that we emit from our bodies. Okay?
Did you repeat that?
We attract results based on the energy that we emit from our thoughts and our bodies. Everything that happens in our life, everything that manifests and becomes reality is a response to the energy that we are sending out.
Yeah, one more time.
Okay?
No.
All right. So those of you who are posting comments on YouTube, this session today is all about Oliver. So I'm not going to be responding to your answers there. Oliver reached out to me. He wanted help and I offered him help. I am happy to help anyone who needs help. Post a comment requesting a session. It will be a public session. So Oliver here agreed to a public session, which I love because it helps me help a lot more people than just him. So if anyone of you want a similar session, leave me a comment and then we'll correspond and we'll figure it out. All right. So Oliver, going back to you. For many years, you have been sending this thought energy out into the universe that says, I'm short and I don't know what to do about it. And I'm afraid that I won't grow anymore. So the cells in your body, that's the energy that they've been sending out into the universe, and that's what's vibrating from you. So when someone meets you, you are the one who's vibrating, I'm short. So they pick up on it with their little antennas and they say, oh, you're short. So this is how people are a reflection of the thoughts that you think, because they pick up on your energy. So they start thinking about you the way you think about you. And then sometimes they'll say it out aloud. Okay? So is this all making sense to you? Do you have questions at this point in time?
Question, but I don't think you fit my time frame. Could you repeat what you said? Because I wanted to write that down. That was really quotable.
Sweetheart, it's on YouTube, so you can go back and listen to the whole thing again. Okay? Don't worry about writing anything down just now. Just hear me, because what I want to do in this session that we are having together, I actually want to shake your existing belief system, shake it, give it a big shake so that some stuff falls falls away from you, and you start opening your mind and thinking differently. That's what I want. Because I'll tell you something, just a small shift in the way you think about things is going to create a big shift in the future, because you will start vibrating differently. When you start vibrating differently, you bring different set of results. So I'm going to ask you a question, Oliver. Do you believe in law of attraction when law of attraction says you get what you think about?
I do.
So then stop thinking shortness and start thinking tallness.
I have a question.
Okay.
In one of your comments, you said someone mentioned how they wrote down their height 10 different times, and then you said you don't believe in that. So when you say to change your belief system, do you mean repeat that daily? Like
No, not at all. Thank you for asking this question. Wonderful. So the reason I said to the person, stop thinking about it, stop talking about it, is because every time you say I want to be 6'5", what you're telling the universe is I'm not 6'5" today. That it creates absence of 6'5" instead of creating the having of 6'5". Okay? So that's why you don't ask again and again and again. That is why you don't visualize again and again and again. Because every time you do a visualization to see yourself as you want to be, you're actually telling the universe, I want to be like that, but I'm like this just now. I want to be like that, but I'm like this just now. So what you're doing is you're pulling your vibration in two different directions. You're pulling your vibration towards what you want, but you're also activating where you are. And you have to stop activating where you are in order for this thing that you want to happen. It cannot happen if you keep activating where you are. And that's why I say stop thinking about it. Stop going there. Because every time you say to the universe, I want to be tall, what you're noticing is that you're not tall. Make sense? Do you see the difference? So, if you never said to the universe, I want to be tall, then you would never you won't put your attention on the fact that you're not tall. Remember when we started, I said to you there are two things that are important, intention and attention. Intention and attention. So your intention is to be tall, but your attention is not there. Your attention is noticing where you are today. So if you could stop noticing where you are today and only notice what you want to be in the future, then that strategy will work. You've got to cut out this pull, the pull between I'm short, but I want to be tall. I'm short, but I want to be tall. Universe, I want to be tall. Because you don't need to tell the universe again and again. You're telling the universe one time is enough. Let me repeat that. You do not need to ask the universe again and again. The universe does not have a hearing problem. Once you tell the universe one time, it is done. Once you ask one time, it's done. If you keep asking again and again and again for the same thing, that's annoying. Right? So that's where the problem is, because annoying is not a good vibration. Okay? So it's like a child throwing a tantrum. When you keep asking again and again for the same thing, you behave like a child who's throwing a tantrum. And children who throw tantrums are not happy children. If they're not happy children, where are they on the emotional scale? They are low down on the emotional scale. And when you're low on the emotional scale, the things that you want cannot happen for you because you're low on the emotional scale. So that's why it is a better strategy to stop asking, because when you don't ask, you are not sending a negative signal out into the universe. And it applies to everything the same way. It applies to relationships the same way. I want this lover, I want this man, I want this woman in my life. Universe, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. And the universe is saying, okay, I heard you the first time. I know what you want. Now can you stop cribbing? Stop cribbing so that I can give it to you. Because as long as you crib, I'm not going to give you your prize. Okay? The universe works the same way for everyone and everything. The universe will only give you what you want if you appreciate what you already have. Not when you complain and fuss about what you're wanting. That's not the way to get what you want. So instead of saying, oh, I want to be tall, I want to be tall, I want to be tall, when is it going to happen? I don't believe it's going to happen. I'm too old now anyway. My genetics are bad. So now what you're doing is you're supporting all your negative beliefs with evidence. So what happens is you're pulling yourself forward. Your desire is so great. There's a lot of momentum in your desire because you really, really want it. See, the difference is, wouldn't it be nice if I had some chocolate today? I'm not dying for chocolate. I'm not hanging my life on it. So it's something that I want a little bit. But then there are things that we want a lot. Right? Like, I really want to be tall. I really want to be taller than I am. So your desire for increasing your height has a lot of power in it. But your beliefs that are not letting you go forward also have a lot of power in them. And the beliefs that you've got there are two beliefs getting in your way, Oliver. One is, I'm too old already and I have bad genetics. So when you give power to these beliefs and you give power to the desire, both at the same time, you can't move forward. Because it's like tug-of-war and you're the prize. So you're pulling this way and you're pulling this way, so you can't move. You're stuck. So what you have to do, my dear, is to give up those beliefs. Give up the belief that it's too late. Give up the belief that genetics control things, because they don't. In the same family, you can have children who are tall and those who are not. Right? And in a family where everyone is tall, you can have a child who isn't. And the difference between the two is activation of the gene. We all have the genetics, but we don't all activate it. You activate your genetics by giving attention to them. So in my case, my mother, hi Sumbul, nice to see you. My mother used to always point to the fact that my father was short. So that meant I always noticed that my father was short. And then she would say, oh, I hope you don't take after him because of genetics. So she planted the belief in me. And I did nothing. I did nothing to ward it off because I did not know how. Okay? But I discovered something later on that I want to share with you, which is very powerful. So before I do that, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Why do you want to be tall? What do you think being tall is going to do for you? Are there tall people who are all tall people happy?
No.
Are all tall people powerful?
No.
Do all tall people attract the best marriages and partners and lovers?
No.
Do tall people attract money? Are all tall people rich?
No.
Are all tall people healthy?
No.
Oliver, why do you want to be tall?
So I see a tall me as the best version of myself.
I'm not saying that you can't be tall. I'm just saying that what does it do for you? See what you've got linked? You've got a physical attribute linked to being the best version of you. Do you believe that the cover of the book is more important to what's inside the book? So, but that's what you're doing to yourself. You're saying that in order to be the best version of me, I need to be tall. How tall is Tom Cruise? Anyone over here know how tall Tom Cruise is? Do you know who Tom Cruise is? He's short. He wears heels.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Now, you look at Tom Cruise, the way he carries himself, he feels tall. So people never notice that he isn't. This is what I discovered about myself. Many years ago, so I used to have this the reason I said I would do a training session with you is because I felt for you because I've been there. Okay. So, in my family, I am the only one who is short, so to speak. And I was extremely conscious of my height. And then I became the head of a department, and I had 30 people working under me. And all of them were taller than me, and all of them were older than me. And I had some inhibitions about how am I going to be effective as a boss when I am shorter than these big, huge guys who are older and bigger than me. Right? And then I forgot about this thought. So I didn't pay much attention to it. I went about doing my work. I got really busy with work. It was a very demanding position. There was a lot going on and there was a lot to do. So I forgot about my own inhibitions and my own, this feeling of being short. I forgot about it and I just did the work. And then one day, I was actually disciplining someone who worked under me, member of my team. I was disciplining him for his behavior. And he looked at me after I was done talking to him. He looked at me, he said, "I just realized something," he said. He looked at me and he said, "I just realized something. You are shorter than me. And all this time, I never noticed that you are shorter than me." And it was like an epiphany, a light bulb went on in my head. I was like, oh my God, this guy is 2 feet taller than I am. So, confession, I am 5'1". Okay? This guy is like so much taller than I am. I have to look up at him like that. And he never noticed that I am short. And that was the day when I realized that my power had nothing to do with my height. My effectiveness had nothing to do with my height. Oh, Sumbal, you too, there. So, and that's what I want to tell you, Oliver. Your effectiveness, your power, Tom Cruise's power, has nothing to do with his height or your height. Being taller does not make us better people. Being taller does not give us more power. And these are the kinds of things, my dear Oliver, that You need to tell yourself again and again, because what we want to do is we want to disconnect. When the day you disconnect, feeling better about yourself from being taller, that's the day you'll become taller. Physically as well as emotionally. So here's the thing. It's one thing to be physically taller, and there's another thing that has to do with being emotionally taller. People who are emotionally tall are those people who exude power without height. And then there are those people who are extremely tall, but they're like doormats. Everyone's walking over them. Because height has nothing to do with your power. Physical height is secondary to your emotional height, your emotional power. Your power comes from who you think you are, does not come from your physical attributes. So tell me something. Does that make sense so far?
It does.
Tell me how your life would change if you were taller. What do you think? Why is it that you want to be taller? How do you think your life is going to change if you were taller?
Be able to dunk a basketball easier.
It would make basketball easier. Okay.
And it would
What else?
give me confidence. It would,
Okay. What else? How else would your life change?
I just think it'd be better. Be improved.
See what you're doing? Do you listen to Abraham?
No.
No,
What
okay.
did you mention?
Okay, that's fine. I absolutely love Abraham. And the one thing that I learned from Abraham long time ago is if you think that when you get something that will make you happy, then you will always chase after it. But if you get happy, then everything that you want will come to you. And this is where you need to change your thinking. Becoming taller will not make you a happier, more confident person. Being a happier, more confident person today will make you a taller person tomorrow. Because the thing that you want comes in response to your vibration, and a happy vibration brings you things that you want, and unhappy vibration keeps them from coming. So you've got the cart before the horse. When you say, I will feel more confident, I'll just feel better about myself. No, if you keep waiting to feel better about yourself and you link that to your height, then you're pushing it further away. Whereas if you become happy with who you are today, then everything that you want will come, including the height. Because that, my dear, is law of attraction. That is how law of attraction works.
So if I don't say what I was saying before, what do I say instead?
It's not about what you say, it's about how you feel. Because you can say the words and not feel anything. So I can say, Oliver, I love you, but I'm not feeling love, I'm just offering words. Manifestation happens based on the feeling. So you've got to learn ways of being okay with who you are today in order to manifest what you want in the future. That's what being mindful is all about. That's what living life in the now is all about. You've got to find ways of being okay with who you are. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So here's what I want us to do just now. Oliver, take a few minutes and tell me what are the things about you that you think are really nice?
Just list them. Let
Hmm?
me just say it.
Yeah?
Let me just say it.
Yeah?
Strong, quiet, independent, different reader, entrepreneur.
That's very good. That's excellent. That's wonderful. So, I really like what you said. I'm going to come back to it, but I want to ask you another question before I do that. Now, if you were looking at yourself in the mirror, what would you appreciate about what you look like? Are there any things that you appreciate about yourself when you look in the mirror?
My skin tone and my hair. I got really curly hair.
Your eyes! My God, your eyes! You have absolutely beautiful eyes.
Thank you. My eyes, I guess.
What else do you appreciate? That's it. Okay.
That's it.
That's it. That's enough. That's good enough. Here's what I want to point out to you as a result of this exercise, which is really going to change everything if you listen to what I'm going to tell you to do just now. Okay? What this exercise suggests, and this is a common problem with a lot of people out there, we are so used to giving compliments to other people, but not to ourselves. And self-worth, the confidence that you want, is not going to come to you from height. The confidence that you want is going to come to you from self-worth. I have value. And self-worth comes when you compliment yourself. You've got to be your biggest fan. That's where confidence comes from.
Definitely don't do that.
And that's the missing piece, my dear. The other thing I want to point out to you is that you gave me a lot more personality attributes that you appreciate about yourself than physical attributes that you appreciate about yourself. So you like who you are as a person, you don't like who you see in the mirror. That, my dear, is going to hold you back. You've got to stop doing that to yourself. Don't be your biggest critic. Be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest fan. Your own biggest fan. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes.
Because when you become your biggest fan, that's what we call alignment. So tell me something. You're into all of this law of attraction stuff, but are you also into religion? Do you believe in God? Or do you believe in the universe and the power of the universe?
I struggle with the concept of religion, but I'm spiritual.
Okay, there you go. So being spiritual, you know what being spiritual really means? Being spiritual means that I have value. I have value. The universe values who I am. I have value. So when you think about yourself, Oliver, do you think you have value?
Not really.
See, sweetheart, love you very much. You have value. You are beautiful inside and out. There is no one who wants success more than you. You want to feel successful. You want to create your own success, and you want to enjoy that success. And all of that is value. You know what gives a person value? The value that a person has is their desire to be more than what they are. If I asked you, Oliver, do you want to be more than what you are? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, what would you say? How much do you want to be more than what you are?
11.
There you go. 11. Your desire is an 11. Therefore, you have value. You want to accomplish things. You want to do things. And that is where your value comes from. The universe responds to, loves who you are. And when you don't, you hold yourself back. The energy that we were talking about in the beginning, the energy that powers every cell of our body, that same energy powers every cell of a plant, an animal. Everything is made up of particles, and all those particles are vibrating with energy. That energy is the energy of the universe. You can never destroy it. It always has existed, always will exist, is always there. You are part of that energy. The universe values you, but if you don't value yourself, then you cannot move forward, because you alignment in law of attraction, alignment is extremely important. What is alignment? Alignment is seeing myself the way the universe sees me. Another way to describe alignment is my heart, what my heart wants and what my mind thinks I can have, they need to be the same in order for me to make progress. Otherwise, it's like two people in a boat, both of them rowing in opposite directions. So your heart and your mind are the two parts of you. Both need to work in your favor. You just told me your desire is an 11 out of 10, which means that your heart is going at full speed, wanting you to have all these things that you want to have. Your mind isn't coming along because your mind sees obstacles. So your heart has to pull even harder to bring your mind along, but your mind is still not going. And freeing yourself, letting go of the negative beliefs, is letting go of all of that so that the mind can go along with the heart. I call that heart and mind alignment. And all success is about heart and mind alignment. You know, those people who achieve success overnight, they are the ones who say, I'm going to believe what my heart is telling me, and I'm going to forget the obstacles that my mind is putting on the way. So, examples of people who have woken up, like Anita Morjani, woken up from stage 4 cancer, completely cured, because she gave up all her beliefs and went with her heart. Her heart said everything's possible. The mind said no. In your case, your heart says, I can grow. I can be 6 feet 5. Your mind says no. Genetics, age. So this is why I'm saying to you, stop listening to your mind. Let all of that go. And when those thoughts come up, stop and say, not going to go there because I know better now. I know that my mind is getting in the way. I'm just going to let all of this go. I'm going to go with my heart. Because heart symbolizes the universe, which is calling you towards the things that you want. And the mind does not let you go. Does that make sense, Oliver? So I'm going to give you a very simple exercise to do. And if you just do this for the next 10 days, you're going to start feeling more confident. And when you start feeling more confident and you start feeling your own freedom, you will start feeling your value. When you start feeling your value, you will start growing again. And it's a very simple exercise. You're going to say to yourself, all things are possible. What I want is possible. Every time you think about yourself, what you want to accomplish, who you are, what you look like, and the increase in height, you're going to tell yourself all things are possible. When the thought comes up that says, oh, but genetics, you're going to say, no, not listening to that thought. All things are possible. My core belief is all things are possible. So I'm going to leave the door of possibility open, because when I say genetics, I close the door. When I say I'm too old, I close the door. And if I close the door, then the thing that I want can't come in, because I'm closing the door on it. In order for me to leave the door open, all I have to do is to say all things are possible. That's all. I just have to say that again and again and again and believe it. And then all the things I want will come. Does that make sense, Oliver? Do you think you could do that?
Okay.
Every time someone says to you, Oliver, you're like this, what are you going to say?
All things are possible.
Yes. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what are you going to say?
All things are possible.
When you think about that business you want to do, what are you going to say?
All things are possible.
Yes, all things are possible. So, number one, this is the exercise I want you to do. The second thing I want you to do is become your own biggest fan and appreciate yourself. Do you think you could appreciate yourself? Yeah? Do you think you could wake up in the morning and say 5 things about yourself that you like? Can you find 5 things about yourself that you like every day?
Physical and mental?
Sorry?
Physical and mental, both?
Yes. Either one. Yeah? Either one. More and more. Do you think you could do that? Okay. That's all you need to do. That's what being positive. So going back to where we started, we said there are 2 things that are important: intention and attention. Okay? And then I brought in the whole concept of heart and mind. In the concept of heart and mind, heart is the intention, mind is the attention. That's why you got to bring them together. Heart and mind have to be the same. Okay? And so bringing that back round to saying all things are possible, when you say all things are possible, the heart and the mind are going together. Okay? So it's really as simple as you make it. If you make it simple, it is simple. If you make it complicated, it becomes complicated. So keep it simple and just keep telling yourself all things are possible. All right. We are getting to the end of our hour together. Oliver, did you find value in this?
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, my dear. So you'll find the recording on YouTube, and I want to hear back from you in a couple of weeks. Check in with me and tell me how you're doing. Okay?
Thank you again.
Oh, you're most welcome, my dear. Take care. Bye for now.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, thank you for joining me on YouTube. Bye for now.